Hey kids, it's Mr. Fly here, hope you're well, and welcome back to another edition of Bike News, the monthly look back at all that's been going on here in the world of motorcycling in the UK. This time, it's for the month of July 2025. Alrighty folks, welcome back to the channel. 4 papers to go through this time, lots of stories to catch up on. Been a busy month this July, it turns out. So first story, cracking right on, is DRZ prices confirmed. Now, this is the new Suzuki DRZ 4S and the DRZ 4SM, or if you're in America, DRZ 4S. Much anticipated motorcycle from Suzuki. It's a sort of a competitor, if you like, for the old Honda CRF 300L, and it's a bike I'm very interested to have a crack on. Anyway, let's just read what it says here, because the prices have come out now. Suzuki have confirmed a £7,999 price tag for their new DRZ 4S and DRZ 4 SM model, so that's the SM is the supermoto version. Both feature a new 398cc single-cylinder motor, a steel twin-spar frame and adjustable electronics. Both land in dealers late summer, so we'll see when they land in dealers. I've actually been talking to Suzuki about getting a loan on one of these as soon as I can, and they're telling me it's likely to be quite late, probably September-ish, so be a little while before you see these on the channel, but very interested to have a go. But basically $8,000, so it sounds quite expensive, doesn't it, for this sort of bike? Don't know, I can't remember how much the CRF 300L is now, but I don't think it's quite 8. But anyway, there we go, that's the price. But 400cc or thereabouts, I think it's going to be a great little bike. It's got a bit of a cult following in the other countries that it's been available in continuously since it went out of, out of the market here in the UK. But it is coming back, and £8,000 is what one will cost you if you want to do a bit of green laning. It's a bit more hairy, I think, than the CRF, but not too hairy. It's kind of the next step up, so something I'm very interested in having a go of. Alrighty, next story. Wild Weekender, oh my goodness me, yes, this is the ABR Festival. Do you remember that if you went? It seems a long time ago now, doesn't it? But what a great time we had. There's here, record-breaking crowds hit Ragley Hall for the biggest ABR Festival yet. Record-breaking 17,392 motorcycle fans descended on the 2025 ABR Festival in Warwickshire. MCN caught up with ABR Festival founder Alan Davis, who said, "We've done what we set out to do." I'll do it in his accent, actually. "We've done what we set out to do." And that, no, he's suddenly sounding Indian. Forget it. "We've done what we set out to do, and that's to give people a fantastic time." We certainly did that, Alan. It was fabulous. Everybody asks, how big can we get? We'll reach our limit when people tell us it was better last year. I hope we never get to that point. Well, on that point, actually, I spoke to a few people about the size of the festival, and a lot of people said to me, this is just anecdotal, it's not scientific research. They said they thought the festival was getting a bit big. I felt that too a little bit, although I still had great fun, and I'm planning to go next year, so we shall see. Across the weekend, attendees were treated to more than 100 of the latest machines from dozens of manufacturers. It's great now, there are actually more manufacturers at the ABR Festival, I understand, than go to the NEC show at Birmingham now, so this is the place to see new motorcycles. More than 10,000 test rides took place, more than 150 exhibitors attended. There were more than 50k of off-road trails snaking through the Ragley Hall estate. Away from the riding, talks ran on several stages. Thank you to everybody that came to mine. Throughout the weekend, and it features some of the biggest names in the world of adventure biking. And don't be put off, by the way, and I'm not trying to do this as an advert. I generally think the ABR Festival is the highlight of the biking year. Certainly is for me. Don't be put off if you don't have an adventure bike. I was talking to my mate Chopsy the other day about this, saying, why don't you come to the ABR Festival? You'd love it. And he was, well, I don't really do adventure bike. You don't need to have an adventure bike to come. Any bike's an adventure bike, isn't it? Just come along. There's even Harley-Davidson have stands there, and they're not going around the trails on baggers and stuff, are they? Anyway, it's a great event. Enough. Right, moving on. Looking forward to next year's one already. Okay, next here, most of what was needed. Yamaha's Do-It-All Tracer 7 and Tracer 7 GT gained fun factor and refinement, but not extra shove. Now, this is interesting because I don't know much about Tracer 7, but they've done a bit of a redesign job, and I think it looks super cute. It reminds me a bit of the BMW what was it, the F900 XR, that one. It's got that cute looking front end, and I think this now looks way better than the Tracer 9, which has got all those lights and looks a bit odd. Let's see what it says here. Yamaha's European designed and built Tracer 7 and Tracer 7 GT remain modestly powered, but last handle as well as they should, thanks to suspension upgrades, a more rigid frame, longer swing arm, and better brakes. Now, that's interesting. I didn't notice that before. It says here, European designed and built. Didn't know that. I wonder whereabouts they're built. But it does have a bit of Panigale about it, actually, doesn't it? It wouldn't surprise me if it has an Italian designer. Anyway, the verdict here from Mossy, he says the new Tracers represent a vast improvement over previous models, especially from a handling point of view. Whether a modestly powered engine will suit your needs, only you can decide. The jury's still out on the style. Well, I love it, Mossy. Obviously, a subjective point. and the irritating indicator switch, which is something I'll never be happy with. So I assume this has got Yamaha's new button where it's no longer a sort of push left and right, but a button right and left. And I mean, if it's your only bike, you get used to it. But I personally, when I switch between these Yamahas with this new button arrangement and other more conventional bike, I find it irritating too. So I'm with Mossy on that. Anyway, lovely looking bike. Look forward to having a go on one of them in due course. Alrighty, last story in this paper. Tour de force. Can the new BMW R1300 RT maintain its crown as the ultimate tourer? Now, I pull this out because I've always been an RT fan. I've never owned one, but you never know in the future. Who knows? But I've always been a fan of it. Whenever I've ridden them in the past, and I have done so quite a bit, I've ridden them on tour in Tuscany with... actually, I didn't have Carol on the back. That was just me solo. I've done test rides on them. Check them out on my channel for previous model reviews on the old 1200 and 1250 RT. But now it's come out with this new version. I did see this in the flesh at the ABR Festival. And for me, the jury's out on the looks, actually. I don't think I dislike it, but I'm not sure I like it either. It's certainly better than what they did with the GS. I mean, I don't find it repulsive in any way. And I'm sure it rides amazing because that new 1300 engine is incredible. And I'm glad to say I've got one of these coming up soon. So if you stick around to Parish Notices towards the end of the video, I'll tell you when my review of this is coming up. But MCN have already ridden it. Let's have a look at their verdict. And this is John Urry. He says, "It was truly incredible." That's the headline. "There is no better bike on the market when it comes to touring. And thanks to the R1300 RT's new tech, it's great fun in the bends too. What a bike." So, well, I mean, I haven't ridden it yet, but I probably have to disagree with John. I think the Honda Goldwing is pretty flipping good. But if this is better than the Goldwing to tour on, I won't say I'll eat my hat. But I'll be very surprised indeed. But it does, I mean, it's got all the right elements there. So look forward to giving it a go, and I'll let you know whether I think it's better than the Goldwing once I've had a ride on it. But prices of it, I mean, it comes in at the one they tested, £25,365. It's quite an expensive machine, but then if you spec up a GS, you're knocking on 24, 25 grand, so it's not that much different. And you could argue, if you don't go off-road, this is probably the bike that GS owners should be buying. Now, in the past, I found the RT a little bit more cramped than the GS, and I've liked previous versions of the GS in terms of its styling more than I like the RT, which I always thought looked a bit bulbous at the front end. Well, my perception, or my, what's the word? My preferences have changed now, in that I definitely think the RT looks better. The current RT looks better than the current GS Adventure, that is. Anyway, yeah, really thrilled to be getting one of these soon and looking forward to giving it a proper in-depth test. We've got it for a couple of weeks. Let me know if you've got any specific things you want to know about the RT, and I'll try and cover them off when I do that review in a week or two's time. Alrighty, that's it for the first paper. Right, first story here. Suzuki Turnback Time. Japanese firm launched GSX 8T Retro combo inspired by the 70s and 80s. And this has been all over social media for the last couple of weeks, actually. I don't know if you've seen reviews. I think username Kate's probably got one out. I know Desperate Dan, English Biker Dan, sorry Dan, English Biker Dan, he went out to the launch, as did my mate Chopsy. I saw them out in, where did they go? Slovenia. It looked amazing. We all know Slovenia is great. If you want to go and ride in Slovenia, check out my friends at Canary Motorcycle Tours, by the way. They do Slovenia tours. They're out there at the moment. Brilliant place to ride. I loved it when I went. Lovely weather, great roads, great people, good prices. Anyway, back to the Suzuki. So yeah, they all got shipped out there. They all had, you know, a lovely hotel, nice roads, nice weather, brand new bikes, treated like kings. And they all said that it was a nice bike. So, quelle surprise. Anyway, I don't go to launches. I've asked Suzuki if I can borrow some of these to ride it on the UK roads in the rain around Slough on a wet Tuesday. And again, I will be getting these soon. So hopefully, I mean, to be fair, there are no such thing as bad bikes these days. Some are better than others. And I did like the GSX 8S in terms of riding, and I loved the GSX 8R even more. So we know this GSX 8 platform is pretty good. So I've no reason to believe these won't be anything other than great. And I do like the look in particular of the TT, which is the one with the fairing. The other one, just the standard T, looks too much to me like, do you remember when Honda did that Neo Retro Honda CB600R, I think it was? And it just looks too much like that to me. I'm not so keen on that one. But the one with the fairing, the TT, particularly in the green with gold wheels, which is a colour combo to die for as far as I'm concerned, that looks great to my eyes. So hopefully that'll be the one I'm borrowing. I don't know. Anyway, let's read what it says here. Suzuki are once again expanding their big-selling middleweight parallel twin offering with a new GSX-8T and GSX-8TT retro combo inspired by nakeds of the 1970s and 1980s. Both should be in dealers in a matter of weeks and make use of the punchy yet easygoing 776cc parallel twin. They're the first new retros to arrive for the brand since the introduction of the four-cylinder Katana in 2019. And, well, I'm not sure the Katana went down too well. I don't know what sales figures are, but I don't think I've ever seen one on the road. I'm sure these will do better. Middleweight seems to be the place to be, doesn't it? And yeah, certainly for me, the one with the fairing gear, the TT, looks great. I don't have any great. I wasn't riding motorbikes in the 70s and 80s, so I don't have any sort of nostalgic harping back to these. I just know when there's something appeals to me or not, and that does appeal to me. So really looking forward to having a go on that. So stay tuned to the channel if you're interested in those. Bit more on them in a later MCN. I think they've actually ridden them now, so a bit more to come. Right, next up, new breed of adventure. BMW's 450 GS is coming this year, packed with new tech. Do you remember this? BMW teased this, didn't they? Some months back. I think we mentioned in Bike News about this coming. A sort of a 450cc-ish GS-looking off-road type bike. And this could, of course, be a competitor for that Suzuki DRZ4 that we saw earlier. And I have to say, this looks great. Whether it'll be a bit heavy or not, I don't know, and what the price will be, I don't know. But it looks like it's going to be, it says here, BMW's 450 GS is coming packed with new tech. So it might be that this is quite a techie beast, which might be something that appeals to you. Anyway, let's read what it says here. BMW are set to release their production-ready F450 GS, before the end of the year. BMW's project leader said, for some customers, bigger isn't always better. Hear to that. And we wanted to give the option to have the same GS quality and style in a smaller package. It's true that a lot of riders are downsizing, and this is a perfect bike for the job. We'll be releasing the production version at the end of this year. But it wasn't just the release date that BMW let slip, as they also hinted that the 450 GS will be packed with tech and have a host of options available, just like its bigger capacity brothers. Now, this is good news, because I've complained in the past that if you're going to go for smaller bikes, lower capacity bikes further down the range, you don't always get offered all the goodies that you get on the bigger, higher end bikes. Well, it looks like they might be reversing the trend here. There will be a conventional gearbox model and an option for a semi-automatic machine. Well, I'll probably go for the conventional gearbox in this case. There's no word on the price of the new 450 GS quite yet, and you can imagine these ain't going to be budget bikes if they're laden with tech in particular. So I don't know, but I'm expecting, if it's less than 14 grand, I'll be very surprised. Just because once you've spec'd it up, I mean, I imagine the headline price might be 10 or something, but by the time you've added the technology you actually want, you're going to be looking at 14, is my guess. But it looks all right. Let's wait and see. I'm really interested and quite excited to see that one. Maybe that's the competitor for the CRF that we were waiting for, albeit it's going to be in a different price league. But certainly with the Suzuki and this coming out now, we've got two 400cc-ish bikes in that sort of off-road green laning space, both of which look really interesting. All right, while we're talking off-road, rally ready. Yamaha's hardcore middleweight is a big hit, both on and off-road. So this is the Tenere 700, a bike that has lots of plaudits, none less, of course, than Norley Itchy Boots. If you've been watching her series of late, she's been doing a tour of the UK. It's been absolutely fascinating to get her take on the UK and watch what she thought about England, Wales and Scotland. So do check those. I'm sure you've watched them already, but she was riding one of these and she loved it. Also, I had a look recently, again, when I was at the ABR Festival, I met Tim Rodey and he's got one of these. And I have to say, it's an impressive bike when you look at it. Looks nice. So, yeah, lots of fans of this bike out there. Not sure I've ever ridden it. Maybe I should sort that out. Anyway, it says here, since it first hit dealers back in 2019, Yamaha Tennere's 700 has been a serious multi-terrain machine. With some subtle changes, the standard 2025 Tenere 700 offers a slight improvement in stance and poise. But if you're keen to really get going off-road, the Tenere 700 Rally, with its more hardcore, focused approach, some additional goodies and its higher spec suspension, is a far more suitable tool, both for those new to off-roading and for a seasoned veteran too. So here we go, serious business. It says here, the higher spec KYB front forks offer a 20mm longer stroke than the standard model. That's going to probably make it a bit taller as well, but if you are serious about off-road, that's the one to go for. 698cc CP2 motor may be getting a bit long in the tooth in terms of its age and architecture, but it's still a solid unit. And that's more refined than ever thanks to a host of tweaks for 2025. It's now Euro 5 Plus compliant, has a refined intake duct and gearbox, as well as an altered map for the first time, a ride-by-wire throttle. So there are some improvements on the engine as well. What else we got? Looking the part. The Rally gets a serious stunning colour scheme, special seat and aluminium foot pegs alongside a few additional goodies, such as a heavier-duty sump guard for a proper rugged appearance. It does look the business, doesn't it? This never used to like the look of Dakar-esque bikes, but this one's grown on me, I have to say. Anyway, Carl says, it looks and feels every bit a quality machine. Yamaha Tenere 700 has always been impressive both on and off the road. and the 2025 Tenere 700 Rally continues that trend. The Rally, with its slightly altered stature, some rugged goodies, and its higher spec suspension, will seriously look after you. The Rally is a premium off-roading machine that can rack up the miles on road too. Excellent. Comes in at £11,404, so quite expensive. But probably, you know, as I say, probably in the right ballpark for sure. But yeah, nice looking and gets good reviews all round. All right, more sports, less tourer. Back to BMW again and the new tranche of bikes they've been releasing. This is the BMW R1300 RS SE ASA. A bit of a tongue twister that MCN have been testing, and I think this new version of the RS looks absolutely brilliant. Of all the new R1300 power bikes, this is the one I love the looks of. And again, I will be getting hold of one of these quite soon. There are some others got it before me, I think, but that doesn't matter. My review will be coming, but I'm absolutely looking forward to this. This one's in black in the MCN report. I think the Rally version looks better, although with the Rally version, you've got some limitations, I understand, with luggage on the back. But anyway, let's see what it says here. BMW say the new R1300 RS is designed with a dynamic riding in mind, and with more power, refocused weight, a smaller tank, a more aggressive riding position. They're right. Well, let's hope they haven't made the riding position too aggressive, because then it will lose some of the, you know, appeal of it, being sporty yet still comfortable. Anyway, we'll see. For the first time, BMW's ASA semi-automatic gearbox is on the bike. Radar-assisted cruise control and anti-collision functions are an RS option. Well, I'd certainly go for the radar cruise, but the anti-collision stuff, you can certainly keep that. And the base RS starts at 13,700. Our triple black version that they've tested was 14.4, and it tops out, get this, at 20,145 with accessories. So yeah, you're looking at a 20 grand motorcycle here if you want one with the bits that you want. It doesn't even mention luggage, so I suspect that might be on top. It does look beautiful though. We've ridden the 1300 engine now, the Boxer. It's a lovely engine, and this is a lovely looking bike. Again, this might even be the one, I think, rather than the RT perhaps. It's going to be very interesting to ride the RT and then ride this, and then all in the mix, the GS as well, and decide which one floats my boat. I think, well, just without riding them all yet, the RS, I think, is probably going to be the one that's my favourite. Let's look at MCN's verdict in terms of riding it. This is from Simon Hargreaves, one of my favourite journos. He says, a sportier riding position, which will make it a more serious road-focused sports bike. But those sportier ergonomics and small tank compromise distance ability. Oh no, that's what I was worried about. That's not good news. Whether it's a shift in the wrong direction is a personal choice. Oh dear, this doesn't sound good. You're more likely to find an RS lapping Cadwell than the NC500. That doesn't sound good. It sounds like Simon thinks maybe they have gone too sporty. We shall see. I mean, there's sporty and sporty, isn't there? Let's hope they haven't taken away essence of RS, which for me is what they did with GS. They made that more sporty, and it just isn't the GS that it used to be. Let's hope they haven't done that with the RS. From a looks point of view, they've certainly improved it, I think. Right, last story in this second paper. Z ain't dead. Are we wrong to overlook the inline-4 Kawasaki Z900 SE as a Tramp Street Triple R and Yamaha MT-09 triples capture the limelight? This is an interesting test. 2 triples against a 4-cylinder bike. I've got the Kawasaki Z900 RS SE, which is the retro version of this bike, so I know this engine very well. And I used to have a Tramp Street Triple, and I love that engine, and I've really loved the MT-09 as well. The triple in that is incredible, the CP3 motor. So they are, I can vouch, they are all fantastic bikes, but they're quite different in character, a triple versus the 4. Ideal world, have both. That would be my argument. I don't know, it's interesting, isn't it? I do think the Street Triple is hard to beat. I've yet to ride the new Speed Triple RS that's recently come out. I need to have a chat to Tramp about getting that in. But yeah, I don't know, interesting. I do love the 4-cylinder bike. You do have to wind them up a bit, but my goodness, when you do, they don't half sound great. And again, there's something about the smoothness of a 4-cylinder. And if you're going to go 4-cylinder, Kawasaki are the masters of it, aren't they? Let's see what the verdict is here. John Urry says, lacks that triple zing. Well, that's interesting. Maybe it lacks a bit of grunt. Let's see what he says. When you ride one, it's hard to understand why the Z900 has tended to stay in the shadows. The fact is it has an inline 4. It allows it to stand out from the crowds of triples and parallel twins, but is it the best option? Not really, says John. On value, performance and sheer giggles, the MT-09 still leads the way, but the Triumph is only a hair's breadth behind, and if you want a slightly smaller and sportier naked, it's the pick. The Kawasaki is a lovely bike to ride. Ridden in isolation, it's great, but back-to-back with the triples, it doesn't quite have the same zing to make it stand out. Interesting. Of course, all these things are opinions, aren't they, at the end of the day? So if you're in a quandary between the 2 types of bikes, a triple or a 4, ride them both and find out. I must admit, I don't much like the styling of the Kawasaki compared to the others. And between these 3, I'd have the Street Triple without a doubt, which is a fantastic bike all round. To me, it looks good. I know it rides fantastic. It's also the cheapest of the bunch, interestingly. And that's the 765R. Comes in at 10,095, whereas the Kawasaki 11,525. Quite a lot more money for a bike that MCN says isn't as good. So interesting verdicts. They've given the Kawasaki 4 out of 5 and the Triumph and the Yamaha 5 out of 5. All right, okay. One to think about, isn't it? Next paper. Alrighty, another 5 stories to go through in this one. Hope you're sticking with me. And Norton back in the news. Norton's future shift. TVS-backed operation shed new light on grand plans to become a serious player. The first all-new Nortons seen under TVS ownership will make their debut by the end of this year, with the bosses confirming 3 new engine platforms are on the way, with 2 bikes set to become available using each of the new motors. Well, this is great news, because Norton is a great name, isn't it? And I wish them great success in this incarnation after all the shenanigans they've had over the years. Now with TVS backing them, massive company, Indian company, I think. They've got the financial wherewithal to make a proper go of this. And it sounds like maybe they're going to. 3 new engine platforms. Let's hope there's some smaller capacity stuff, not just boutique. Let's hope it's stuff that, we can all afford, and then we can all get on board a Norton. So it says here, not only this, but the styling used on the incoming machinery looks set to move away from the retro aesthetic we've come to know from the brand. Excellent. Maybe some modern-looking Nortons. Richard Arnold said, and I'm not sure what Richard is. He's somebody... director of the brand, executive director of the brand, that's Richard. Sorry about that, Richard. He says, the products that you'll see are very much products for the future. Engineering inside, it's unbelievable. Some of the patented innovations are amazing. It'll be very much top of the market in terms of the product, but a broader capacity range, so broader price points, making them more readily available. Well, that sounds good. Let's hope there's one there that we can all afford. And yeah, good luck to Norton. Can't wait to see them. No pictures, sadly, of those bikes. But I guess we'll be seeing them soon with some teasers and stuff. Right, in fact, having said that, next page, new Norton V4 breaks cover, and there's some spy shots already seen of a new Norton. It says here, sources captured these new images of the incoming V4 superbike, expected to be launched in Milan this coming November. That'll be at EICMA. The thin twin LED headlights are akin to European rivals, such as the Ducati Panigale V4 and BMW S1000 RR. Yes, the front fairing there. Looks good, doesn't it? It does look attractive. A closer inspection of the cockpit appears to reveal semi-active suspension. Clip-on bars ensure a focused riding position. That's code speak for flipping uncomfortable riding position. So that's an immediate downer. They do look quite serious, the clip-ons, don't they? It's a shame. It's an attractive looking bike, but I think the clip-ons means it's going to be no-go for me. Anyway, we'll find out. The forks lead down to what looks like to be a set of Brembo's latest high-pure calipers. They've definitely got best cycle parts. I'm thinking this ain't going to be a cheap bike, this one. Norton declined to comment on the spy shots when approached. Yeah, it looks good, though. If it has red wheels, that's always a winner. It does look good. Let's wait and see. Hopefully all will be revealed in November. Right, next up on the same page, rugged retro makeover. New Triumph Scrambler 400 XC adds real all-terrain appeal. Now, the little Triumph 400s have been selling like hotcakes, as we all thought they would. Absolute amazing little bikes these. Great value as well. And they come up with this Scrambler version, which to my eyes looks really cute. Triumph have unveiled new off-road styled Scrambler 400 XC. With bikes expected in UK dealers from September, priced at 6,545. That's £600 more than the Scrambler 400X it sits alongside. So this has just got some more bling, I assume. Designed to appeal to customers seeking a more rugged look, the XC swaps out the X's cast alloy wheels in favour of spoked wheels. It looks like it's tubeless still, though, so that's good news. The wheels set remains a tarmac-focused 19-inch front, 17-inch back. Although jumping to a larger set would likely require significant chassis changes, further increasing the price. There's also a high-mounted colour-matched front mudguard, aluminium sump guard, engine bars, handguards, and a tidy fly screen. With improved off-road capability and Scrambler attitude, we hope this model will appeal to even more riders. Why is it that Triumph always describe their bikes as having attitude? It's one of those things about their marketing that just winds me right up. No other bike manufacturer talks about their bike's attitude. A motorcycle can't have attitude. It's not an alive thing. Doesn't know, it's just a little pet hate of mine. Anyway, but that all said, generally I'm a Triumph fanboy and I do like the looks of this, so let's hope it doesn't switch itself off when you're riding. When that comes out, I shall get my name down for a go on one. Again, maybe that's something you could genuinely do a bit of off-roading on. I think it'd probably be a little bit heavy for that game, but who knows. Right, here we go. A letter that impressed me this time. This is a great idea. The Tiger's Whiskers says here, ever worried about catching your luggage on summer tours? Thought you might like this novel idea my friend Richard invented. Remind him he has the panniers loaded. This is from a guy called Nick Rain in Wokingham. And basically what he's done is put a couple of very long cable ties, that was the word I was struggling to find, a couple of long cable ties, either side on his crash bars, the same length as his panniers on the back. So they act like whiskers, literally, when you're going through gaps. If the cable ties touch, you know your panniers won't go through. Brilliant idea. Love it. So well done. Thank you for that one and bringing it to our attention. All right, next story. Now this particular paper is the 70th edition of MCN. Would you believe they've been going for 70 years? And as part of that celebration, they printed out some of the early articles from 70 years ago. And again, a couple of letters just tickled me here, just a couple to read out. Sir, I know many of my friends will wish to join me in wishing you all possible success with motorcycle news. But there has long been a need in the sport for this type of paper. That was from Phil Bailey from Chippenham on the Wiltshire border. Fantastic. And then this one from Arthur Westrup. He said, Sir, we are sending you our best compliments on the occasion of your new publication and do hope that the edition will soon reach a number of copies of 6 digits. Now, I don't know if MCN ever did. I suspect it did. What's that, 100,000, isn't it? 6 digits, that's right. I'm sure in its heyday it did. I'm not sure it's there now. But yeah, it's been going for 70 years, so it hasn't done bad, has it, as a newspaper? We all know newspapers are somewhat on the ropes. So glad that MCN is still knocking it out in a newspaper form. You can get it digitally as well, which is how come I get the pictures that you see on here. But I just like holding a newspaper and reading it old school style. So long may that continue and long may MCN continue. Otherwise, Bike News is in trouble. Right, last paper then, still with me, and then we'll get on to some Parish notices. Fun comes at a price. So this is those Suzukis, the 8T and TT that we talked about earlier. They've actually ridden it now. Let's read what they've said. Suzuki's 8 parallel twin platform lends itself perfectly to a retro. Mechanical changes are practically zero. It's got a lithium-ion battery, which offsets the slight weight gain of the fairing, for example, on the TT. And it's got a larger fuel tank, apparently, up 2.5 litres, which is always welcome, isn't it? Close your eyes and you would almost swear you're on the 8S. The differences are that subtle. The 8TT and 8S share the same 810mm seat height. Handlebars are a touch racier, but that's the only real change, and it's not a big one. It does look good on this picture, doesn't it? It does look really nice. So Chris Newbiggin, he wrote it, he says, nostalgia sells, but we fear Suzuki might have been a bit overconfident when pricing their new retro pair. It's hard to work out why it costs so much more than not only its rivals, but also the bike it shares 80% of its mechanical parts with. Yeah, I failed to mention that. The prices have come in now. So the 8TT, which is the one with the fairing, is £9,999, so 10 grand. I think it's 2.5 grand more than the 8S, which is pretty much the same bike. It does seem a bit spicy, that, doesn't it? So we'll see. How long will it be until Suzuki have a bit of a deal on the pricing on these? But yeah, they do seem quite expensive. And when you're thinking 9,999, yes, it's a nice looking bike, but you could get a Honda Hornet for that. The SP with, Öhlins suspension, Brembo brakes, all that game. So yeah, it does seem a little bit salty, that pricing, doesn't it? Be interested in the comments below whether you think that's a good price or not, or should we wait, see if the prices come down? Okay, final story. King of the baggers. How do Harley and Indian's new ultimate baggers measure up in the real world? Now, these sort of bikes aren't really my bag, excuse the pun. I know I was a Goldwing owner for some time, and I love the Goldwing, but I don't regard those as quite the same as these, because these, to me, number one, they're very expensive, but they're also very heavy. They're quite agricultural to ride. I'm guessing. I've never ridden one, so this is an outrageous statement for me to make. I'll strike that. Take that back. Forget I ever said that. But the prices, I mean, they're 28 grand or thereabouts. 28 grand for the Chieftain, Indian Chieftain, 28.5 for the Harley-Davidson Street Ultra Glide. Who in this country, right? I get that they might work in Australia, we've got big straight roads. I get that they work in the US, again, big straight roads, and obviously massive fan base for cruiser type bikes. But to me, these look absolutely ridiculous. Again, it's a, matter of personal taste, but I don't find these attractive in any way. And in the case of these big, almost full-dress tourers, the appeal of Harley-Davidson and Indians for me is the engineering and the looks of the engine and so on. Well, that's all covered up on these, so it doesn't even know that to go into. So let's. So who's buying these? Are they going to sell them? My prediction is you'll never see these on the roads in the UK. Anyway, let's not put too much of a down on. Let's see what Phil West has to say. Is the Hog a bagger? The Harley is the bagger with more. The big selling street glide with extra luggage, comfort kit and chrome. It delivers all that excellently as well. So much so that in reality, it's more of a cut price full dress tourer. Cut price is saying. The Indian with its added poke probably nails the factory bagger brief better than any other machine. Its black horse blackness is pure, eye-catching and convincing. It's cheaper than the Hog, and best of all, it has significantly the pokiest power plant. So I'm not sure which one Phil is saying is better there, but take your choice. Not for me. All right, time then to check out what's coming up on the channel in the next few weeks. But before we do that, can I just ask you what you think of this new setup? I'm actually recording on a new camera. I bought myself the Osmo Pocket 3, something that loads of vloggers have. And I just think it's a little bit sharper. It may be, it's a bit true, it doesn't distort perspective, that sort of thing. I thought I'd give it a try for bike news. Definitely the colours I notice already on the little preview screen. I'm looking a bit more pasty and washed out than I do on the Insta, on the Osmo Action 4 that I used to use. Let me know what you think of this. Do you think this is an improvement over last month's? Or do you think this is all right? Let me know, because I can always swap back to last month's. It's not a problem. All right, anyway, what's coming up on the channel then? Well, next up on Saturday is my next of the Cloverleaf adventures. It's part 3, and this is the Western Leaf, I think, if I remember rightly, which means Glencoe, places like that. Fantastic. Really nice ride, this one. So if you like tour videos, Cloverleaf Part 3 coming out on Saturday. After that, on Wednesday, the 6th of August, a little bit of an update on how I'm getting on with my Ducati Streetfighter, the V4S. Many of you thought that was a strange choice for me and said I should have got the V2 instead, or maybe something a little less pokey. Am I enjoying it or not? Is there a bit of buyer's remorse going on? We'll leave that to the 6th of August to find out. That's coming up then. Then the Saturday after that, and the 9th, the last of the Cloverleaf episodes, Part 4. This is the Northern Leaf. And I thought the Western Leaf was going to be the best. But for me, the North Leaf was the best. We went up through the Cairngorms and beyond, hung a left at the end, and there's some absolutely amazing roads up there. Really enjoyed that. So that's the last part of that short series. Hope you've enjoyed that, and thank you to those that watched and commented on that. Traditionally, tour videos don't do very good, but so far that seems okay. Then after that, Wednesday the 13th, my comparison of the, you may have seen last month, I put up the Speed Twin ride, the new 2025 Speed Twin. Well, I've had the RS in now, and I had a short period when I had them both together. So I made a comparison video of the two. And the question I'm posing is the RS worth the extra money over the standard bike? So stick around for that on the 13th. Then on the 16th, another Wednesday, I think that is, the Tiger Sport 800. My first ride of that bike, a much anticipated bike from Triumph. I've really enjoyed riding it. Spoiler alert. The first ride on the 16th. Another Biker Scran scheduled for the 20th. Haven't recorded it yet, so hopefully that'll be in the can by then. Then the Tiger Sport 800 summing up video on the 23rd. The 27th, going to be riding the BMW R1300 RT. Haven't had it yet, getting it this coming month. Hopefully bring you that video on the 27th of August, the first ride anyway. And then the next bike news, one for your diary, will be on the 30th of August. So put that in your diary. All right, hope you enjoyed that. Look forward to reading your comments as ever, and look forward to speaking to you next time. Until then, this has been the Mr. Them Fly. Cheerio.